What's up, everybody? It's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy coming at you with Wayne M. Lucas. We are talking all things relationship, how to be your authentic self without ever feeling the need to gain acceptance from anybody else and how they feel about whatever relationship you may be going through. We're going to be really raw, candid, and get right into everything. So we're coming at you fast, hard, and with a fury. So buckle up. This is a really awesome show of Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. Here's my theme song. Here we go.
Listen up to the sound of hope for a good tomorrow. 'Cause it's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. Yes, it's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. Oh, it's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. Oh, it's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy.
With Wade and Lucas, and we are here to talk about relationships because relationships literally are the ebbs and flows of life.
That's amazing.
I love it.
You tie that in so well.
Always. You know why? Because this is how love goes. And so I want to be very honest with my audience about the realities of dating today. Dating today is really difficult for most people because our society is based on aesthetics. What looks good, what feels good for a moment, the moment, YOLO, you only live once, and not for the long haul and what relationships are really all about. And so Wayne and I have had this discussion, and we're going to kind of revamp this discussion and talk a little bit about what relationships really are, what they mean, and what's the purpose, and what's the point? Like, why? Why build with someone the rest of your life?
Well, I think everyone wants that. Everybody wants to be in love and to have someone to love them.
Why?
I mean,
your mom loves you.
Sure, but you make it, like I told you, you make it like a business transaction. Is a relationship a business transaction?
Absolutely.
I guess. Why? I mean,
absolutely.
Because you had the paperwork to do it, right? Because you went down to the courthouse to sign the paperwork. But outside of that paperwork, what do you have?
So that's a great question. And that's the whole point. If you're in a relationship with somebody, if you're not able to have a great business transaction, meaning you're able to interchange ideas and exchange information with that person and go with the ups and downs of the relationship, be able to love and hate them and
love
still
and hate.
Yes, absolutely. And still go and produce results. That's a great relationship.
Why would I be with somebody who I hate?
So hate is a strong word, but
it's a very
thin
strong
line
word
between love and hate.
Sure.
And so you cannot like somebody immensely, intensely for long periods of times and still be in a relationship with them. Think about your relationship with your siblings or your parents or a good friend that you stopped talking to for years and then you rehash a relationship. Hell, we've been through that.
Sure.
I think that's the whole point. Is it's
but
been
what
able
does it have to do with love? Love doesn't mean that I hate you. I love to hate you. I know a lot of people who love to hate people. Mm-hmm. But to say that I want to be in a relationship with somebody to where I'm going to love and hate them, that just sounds stupid.
Well, maybe not the extreme of love and hate, but I think everybody I've ever been in love with, I've had to see the ugliest parts of them and hate certain parts of who they were as people in order to understand that as immense of a feeling as I had in the negative or the detriment of our relationship, that I wanted them around enough in my life to invest in the relationship. Maybe I can say extreme disdain or extreme dislike for a moment or for that act of that person, but I love them enough to continue in the relationship. And for me, that is relationship. If you're not in a relationship with somebody that you're willing to work as hard as you've ever worked for in life.
But how long do you work? So you have to understand, like
question.
when you're in a relationship, I was in a 5-year relationship and I felt like I was doing the work and they wasn't doing any work. But how long do you work on that person to work with, right?
That's a great question.
Before you start to think about how it affects you and how you don't want to work. Sometimes you want to retire. Can you retire? I mean, there's no retiring in relationships.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. You shouldn't be the only one doing the work. Work has to be an exchange. And so you may hate the way I do something, but you love the result. Right. And so as a result, you stay within the relationship because you love the results of what I produce. And in the results of my production, you find ways to be attracted to what I'm able to provide for you as a person, or provide to you in our family, or whatever it is. There are moments in life where, for example, my husband, I can't stand his ass. I can't tell you how many breakup songs I've written, but I write the songs in order to not actually break up with him because I love him enough to push through those moments where I don't like him very much.
But that's when people talk about you all in your feelings, because I mean, feelings do play a big part in that.
Exactly.
And yeah, we do get in our feelings about certain situations, and that has something to do with knowing your partner and knowing the person that you're with.
But you should never work harder for your relationship than the partner that you're with.
It should be easy. I don't think you should ever work like that.
No, it's work. It's work. It's work regardless. I don't care. You put time and effort into a relationship, it's going to be some level of work. Now, some work is easier than others, right? It's the difference between you working at Walmart and trying to figure out where to put the go backs.
Yes.
Or you working in an office and you just answer a phone. Some work is harder than others. However, it's gonna produce some level of effort, right? And so I think that it's important to remember when you're in a relationship with somebody, it shouldn't be a strain. You shouldn't be developing heart disease and gray hairs being with somebody.
Are you spilling tea?
I'm trying to tell you.
Tea.
Oh my God. I got a baby daddy. I wrote a whole book about that motherfucker. So all I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? You that relationship was very difficult. It was more work on me than it was on him because he just didn't care the way I did. And so the relationship I have now is not that level of work, but there's work involved. I'm with a man. I chose to be in a heterosexual relationship with a man. There is work involved.
Yeah, when you say the man.
With a man.
With a man, right.
With a man. You know what I'm saying? I could have been with anybody.
You mean more of a dominant person?
Sure, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that there's always sacrifices that we all make, no matter who our partner is. We were talking about this earlier, so go ahead and bring it back up again. We were talking about when you're in a male-male relationship or a female-female relationship, there's always a dominant partner. What were you talking about?
That's a dominant person, but no, a lot of people have the say of, people will ask you these questions all the time, like, who's the man in the relationship and who's the female in the relationship? What kind of term is that to even ask a guy in a guy relationship? Like, if there's two men, obviously there's two men there. Mm-hmm. But what you really mean to ask is who's more dominant, who's feminine. Right. But why is that a question anyway? Because I guess that's what everybody is used to. They want to know who is the more manly or more female person in the relationship, which is not okay.
Well, so you say it's not okay, but the fact that they're even asking the question means that they have a level of curiosity that they're like, I want to know. I want to know from my own knowledge base, and you're the closest.
Why? Why do you need to know?
It's curiosity.
Yeah, but you want to know why. So you want to, so you can feel more better as putting it in a box, so you can place it differently, right?
That's a way to look at it.
So you can say, okay, now this feels better for me because I know what role you play and what role you play. That's none of their business.
It's absolutely none of their business, and you absolutely don't have to share it. But look at it like this: you have friends who are from Somalia, right?
Yeah.
I don't know much about the country. I don't know what they eat. I don't know what time they go to bed. Okay. I don't know anything about it. So if I start asking you questions about that country, that culture, and what they do, are you going to be offended that I'm asking you? Or are you going to be like, oh, well, this is what I've learned about this particular culture, knowing that you don't come from it, but that you have not a knowledge base about it? It's more of a curiosity. So I don't want you to be offended.
Not offended. Some people are just curious. Why are they curious? Because people are nosy and they just want to use that information against you.
Or
use that towards, try to use that. But that's not, I know that comes from a space.
A defensive space.
A defensive space, right. So but I'm not defensive.
Yeah.
What I don't like is people passing judgment on situations they have no knowledge on.
Absolutely.
And if you're asking questions to figure out a knowledge of seeing how things go, you wouldn't ask those kind of questions like, are you the man or are you the female in the relationship? I mean, because I don't go up to a man and a woman and say, who's the man and who's the woman in the relationship?
Right.
Because you and me both know that in your household, you run the motherfucking house.
You're right.
You feel me? Like, you run the motherfucking house. So technically, you are the man in the relationship.
Right.
But
it's
that was just
unquote.
Quote unquote.
Right.
You're the man in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
That's what they would think. But I would never go up to anybody and be like, so you the woman. So that's why a lot of people say, oh, you must wear the pants.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
What is that? Because I mean, we both wear pants. So
you both wear pants.
We both exchange the responsibility of dominance in any given situation. So I think that what people, it is a general ignorance and a curiosity that people have. It's the same way white people love touching black people's hair and saying it feels like Brillo pads. And I think that's the whole point is, we just have these experiences that we come across that literally define us as people. And it's typically based on ignorance and curiosity. And so while we shouldn't dismiss the curiosity or the ignorance, we shouldn't allow people to just take advantage of us. But we have to speak up for ourselves. That's why Solange gave us a song, Don't Touch My Hair.
Yes, but no, I don't think they heard. But the whole little of the woman who was on Instagram who allowed that these two white people to come touch her hair, and this Latina woman on the side was telling them, like, you've never touched a woman of color's hair. You never touched her hair. They're like, oh no, we've never ever been able to be so close to touch her. And the girl is standing there looking all helpless. Like, this is where it grows out my hair. She said that out of her mouth, by the way.
Assault.
She said, well, this is how it just grows out my head. Why are you touching her hair?
Idea.
Pay nobody's bill to touch nobody's hair. You can't do that.
Horrible. And so I think that's the whole point is, that acceptance of the dominant culture's ignorance has reigned over our society, and being undereducated is now literally the norm. And so when you have education, like you and I are in a space where we understand, we empathize, we look and seek out information outside of our own culture, outside of our own background as being Black Americans. But the dominant society just doesn't do that. And so as a result, they get opportunities and they take advantage of them. I have a biracial child and everybody always wants to touch her hair. And I've told her from the beginning, don't let nobody touch your hair. And she'll tell somebody right off the bat, don't touch my hair.
See, right off the bat, because she's too cute. She's one of them kids that you think that it's okay to touch.
Yeah, no, it's not
that
cool.
You can go ahead and just, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Let me
she's
go
not
ahead
in
and touch her.
She's not in a museum. She's not a zoo animal. She is not for your
But that's
entertainment.
The way they look. And then they ask these questions too. You have to understand this. What does she identify as?
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one for her because she'll tell you right straight up she's white.
Why is everybody wants to...
She's white like... She's like,
I didn't say that.
She's like, I'm white like daddy. She's like, I'm white like daddy.
That.
She's like, I'm white like daddy. And you know what? Because she's 5 right now, I let her identify as white like daddy. It's at first I was like, oh, but what about me? But it's not about me. It's about where she lives in the suburbs, right? She lives a suburban life. All her friends are white. She has a couple of black friends, even though her sisters and brother are Black and her mother's Black and she lives mostly with us. She looks like her dad. So in her mind, I'm white like daddy. So cool. You be white like daddy. But scroll down to them hips and them thighs.
Look, I was just about to say, she every bit of Cherokee. She every bit of the nigga. She is there.
She is just, she
thighs
is her
are coming
mother's
through.
child. Okay. I had to just up her panty size. Let me stop playing. But anyhow, the whole point is she is thicker than a motherfucking snicker. So, the whole point is, we go through these different stages of life of our education as far as who we identify with, what makes sense to us in our lives. And then we adjust that understanding of who we are accordingly. And so it's never constant. It's never the same. And just like we're talking about relationships, your understanding of what's masculine or feminine, what's dominant or submissive,
more passive,
yes. or more aggressive will change.
Right. I don't really go to a heterosexual couple and just be like, who's more passive, who's more aggressive. Right. But because it's none of my business. And me getting that information, what does that do? It
doesn't do anything.
So why do you need to know? That's the frustration.
Right.
Not the, not me being, so guarded.
Sure.
It's more of the why.
Right.
Like, I'm more of a person that needs to know too. I love to know information. I love to gather, but I use it for my gain, not just for, just to know. I just want to know. Like, these are not Snapple facts like you find on the back of us. You don't need to know. Why you need to know? Like, you're going to use that somewhere on your SATs or some shit like that? No. So why do you need to know this?
They just want to be in your business.
They want to be in your business, and I'm not with that. 2020, nobody's been in my business unless I want to give them some business.
You sound like you about to be 40. Let me tell you that.
Look, it's on there. Like, well, no, seriously, come on, T. Like 10 years ago, you already know we was on that tip. Like, we're not trying to really have nobody up in our business like that. I mean, we're going to give you what we want to give you.
That's the about to be 40 tip. Because, I used to wonder why 40-year-old women are so bitter. I'm like, why y'all so angry. Like, what's the problem? I was in my 20s. I was like, why y'all bitches, you need to get fucked? Like, what's the problem?
Yes.
But it's really the understand. You're coming into your own. You're taking a staple as to what you are not going to tolerate, what you are okay with tolerating, and going from there. And so it can make you bitter, but the balance is to not find yourself angry at something you can't change. You can't change how anybody feels or what anybody does. The only controllable is you, how you see and look at the world, and that's it.
Right, and that brings it back to what you're talking about, you know, the aesthetics of your relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Right? People will look at you and your husband and be like,
How does that work?
How does that
Who
work?
bends over who?
Who does who? You can tell, oh, she's fucking him.
Right.
Like, even though like, he's definitely penetrating you and giving it to you. You know what I mean? But you're fucking him.
Oh yeah, as far as everybody's concerned. But you know, I just keep guessing. I used to feel the need to explain myself to everyone. I do not feel the need to explain myself to anyone. And if I give somebody the blessing of an explanation, it is out of sheer respect for our relationship. If we have no relationship, I will explain not a damn thing. And so I think a lot of these reality stars, they need to start getting with that and understanding you don't have to explain yourself to nobody. You're going to have fans regardless if you just keep doing you. But otherwise, I explain nothing to no one. Just let them keep guessing. Let them keep assuming. Let them keep thinking. I got a podcast. You just pick what you can from that and go from there, because this is it.
Well, that's how I feel. Well, I mean, you brought it up so far as me with, you know, why I don't date short guys. Like,
yes.
I mean,
that was the reason why we started this podcast. He don't date short guys. Why? Well, first of all, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10",
Okay.
5'11" with my Jordans.
You know what I mean? Does an inch matter?
Yeah, that inch only. Does an inch matter when you, like, you know,
No.
taking it and receiving it? That inch does matter.
No.
An inch matter. And in a male's perspective, every inch counts.
Oh, okay.
Every inch counts.
Hell, Sweetie said, you know, you got to get that pipe, and it's got to be long and all night.
Well, it ain't gotta be. That's a different podcast. But look, I'm saying I like a guy with height and size.
Okay.
So if you see me with a guy, this is so bad. I hope he's not listening. But there's someone I really do care for who's about 5'5", and I'm 5'11". Like,
what is the problem with that? When you laying down, what's the problem?
Right, I get that. But when I'm walking in the street and going to the mall, I look like I'm with my little brother. Like,
no,
you
look like a grown ass man.
Yeah,
so
no.
Why does that matter?
It just feels weird. It looks
How does
weird.
it feel weird?
I don't know. It just feels like you. I don't know. Like, he's just.
So this is my thing. What I know about you is you typically pick a large, tall, dominant like man. And in this instant, when you have a shorter man, even if he is dominant, it makes you feel more dominant than you want to be, even though you are a dominant male. But you tend to pick up the feminine energy of the relationship.
The feminine energy.
I
I hate when you bring that up.
I didn't say you were the
woman.
woman.
No, I know, but you said the feminine energy. But what does that refer to?
You have so much feminine energy to you because you empathize and you relate. That is not a masculine trait typically. Even if
that is so sad, because that's
it's
masculine.
True,
that's toxic masculinity.
It is.
My dad is a sensitive man.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
he is a man.
Yeah,
he is
absolutely.
Quote unquote the man.
Yeah,
a man.
absolutely.
But he's very in tune with his sensitive side.
Absolutely.
If people would say sensitive side meaning more feminine size, which is not.
But
I don't relate to that. I don't know what that means.
So
because
let's break
being
it down.
in a relationship with a man like my dad.
Yeah.
Like my dad. He doesn't. I can't. My dad. Yeah, he fixes cars. He does all that. He also washes dishes.
Yeah.
He also does hair.
Yeah.
He does all that.
That's
but
wonderful.
So me growing up seeing that,
Yeah.
I don't see the problem with me braiding hair or me doing this and doing that, because I seen this growing up, and this man has 4 kids and a wife.
Yeah.
So when people tell me, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that," or "You're not supposed," that's not a man thing to do. What do you say to your sons?
That's just plain old ignorance at the core, because it's based on tradition, right? Our patriarchal society is based on men hunting and women gathering. Let's just break that down as just a plain, simple, basic cultural phenomenon. It has nothing to do with intuitiveness. It has everything to do with culture. And in American society, this mesh pot of people that we've connected now from many different genres of background, the man, quote unquote, is supposed to do X, make the money and be the provider. The woman is supposed to, quote unquote, take care of the children, cook and clean, right? And so as a cultural phenomenon that we continue to see that. But now with the rise of the onlooking of gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender culture and society, now our culture is forced to look at a different genre of connections and connectivity. So whereas you have two men, they could be both very dominant. And you and I know, because we both are avid porn watchers.
Yes. Let's go. I wouldn't name them out. I wouldn't name some sites out, but they ain't sponsoring that nigga. So I'm not telling them none of them. But I do know a couple sites that I, frequent.
There are many different genres of even gay porn. We're not even talking about lesbian porn. We're not talking about trans porn. We're just talking about gay porn.
Gay porn alone, there's a lot.
And we're talking about gay white male porn. Okay. Right?
Yes.
So if you break just that society down, let alone the dominant society of culturally dominant male and female, white male and female cultural dominance, the subgenre of gay white male genres that exist within that subcategory, there are, of course, those terminologies that are going to be thrown out like
nasty.
Who's the male? Who's the female? Who's the dominant? Who's the submissive? Who's the top? Who's the bottom? Right? Who can do both? Praise the Lord.
Yes. We love them.
Right. So the point is, I think that with all of that together,
I think that's the point. I think that's why people want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to know who's fucking who.
To know.
They want to know who's fucking who.
Of course they do.
It's none of their business.
Of course it's none of their business.
But what about the people who, like
it's
you said,
their business that J-Lo just got engaged, but we want to know. It's not our business that the queen and the prince and the princess of England just had a baby, but we want to know. And so that's how celebrityism works, it's a curiosity, and people are willing to pay for it in tabloids that may or may not be true just to get some level of tea.
But now who's the top and the bottom? They don't ask you who's top and who's bottom.
But they do, because I'm in an interracial relationship, so it's another genre, right? I'm not a white woman with a white man, so that's boring. That's normal. We know how that goes, and there's still questions about even that level of relationship. But mine being as unique as it is in being male, female, but black and white, there's all kinds of questions that are going to come out of that. So I don't take people's ignorant ass questions, and I get a lot of them. I don't take them as offense because I understand the level of curiosity. That doesn't also mean that I answer all of their questions. I may say sometimes, you need to refer to Google for your answer.
Just don't ask. Or how about, that's not okay to ask. Like I'm ready. I'm in the mode now to where I'm ready to not 40. Check people, but more of I'm gonna just educate you, not check you.
I don't even feel the need to educate you. I don't even go there because you know what? I'm giving you energy that you have not earned. If I'm in a relationship with you, you've earned some level of confidence and communication with me.
I get that.
If you're some random on Instagram,
I
don't owe you a goddamn thing. I'm not giving you anything and I don't owe you anything. So I'm not telling you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, my education to other people come in this type of forum. I have a podcast. I have a platform. I can go ahead and share that information with these people here like this. But outside of this, individual one-on-one, I don't know you. I don't owe you anything. I'm not going to tell you anything. You need to Google it. You need to find somebody else.
No, I don't want to give nobody that time either. But sometimes it gets to the point to where you just have the time. Mm-hmm. You of all people don't have no time to give nobody nothing.
Nothing extra.
But why do I find myself giving time?
Don't give it. You know what? You're in that. There's different stages of like understanding, right? There's that initial stage of shock, and then there's that next stage of anger, like you're mad that everybody's asking you these damn questions, and then there's that stage of acceptance where you're just like, okay, people gonna be ignorant, and that just is what it is. You're in the angry stage where you feel you need to fight back. You're fighting for your people. You're fighting for your cause. Like you have to explain yourself because you're not coming from a quote unquote normal space, right? That people just accept and understand and don't think twice about. It's really unique being a gay black male living in this society, knowing that, like you said to me earlier, you were talking to me about the A&R folks that were saying you're kind of a neutral gay. You're
non-offensive gay.
Which I come across as a non-offensive black woman to most people, but I'm like, I'm from Oakland, California. I was really a nigga underneath it all. But at the end of the day, people, because I'm educated, because I use articulate words, people see me as very I'm married to a white man. You see me as very non-offensive, but no. I'm just a nigga from the hood. I'm from Oakland, California, baby. Yes. At the end of the day, I just told my kids this the other day, they were talking to me about some crazy, and I was like, look, y'all know mommy. I need you to understand who the fuck Tahera is, because that bitch is running mommy.
She's mad.
She is running mommy. Okay. I want you to say who's fueling this thing,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so when people start to get to know you for who you are, and you're accepting of whatever hate or frustration comes from people, from you exemplifying who you actually are, I'm to the point where I don't give a fuck. You could be mad at me. You could hate that I said fuck just now, and it's a podcast, and I got church people listening. It's not going to affect me. There's homeless people outside that you're not taking care of right now. There are children being molested, and there are children at the border right now that don't even have a place to stay. But you mad because I said fuck?
Come on,
I don't give a
T.
fuck. That's what I'm saying. So whatever your cause is, I'm still doing me at the end of the day. And so whatever relationship I choose to be in, I ain't got to explain it. I ain't got to talk about it. I can declare it. I can explain it all day long if that's what the fuck I feel like doing. That's why this is called Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy, because I want you to be you. Whatever that means for you, be you. You know what I'm saying?
I agree about it.
Shit.
Lord, you got your blood pressure up. Like, you just sit up here, you just sweated out some of the press.
I am
take care of them edges. But we have to take care of these edges.
This is what happens when we start to drinking, and then we just say, you know what, fuck it, let's go ahead and start this podcast and see what we can do. Because at the end of the day, this is about passion. This is about people. This is about relating to one another. This is about understanding and really getting people to see another side of things. I am all of that. I'm a Gemini, first of all. And second of all, I'm a Gemini. Did I say first and second was I'm a Gemini, right?
Yes, I heard this.
And then third of all, I'm black. Fourth of all, I'm a female. Fifth of all, I'm a wife, a mother, and everything else, that all my other titles
You
behind
a lot.
that. I'm trying to tell you. But those other things guide everything else. And so being true to myself is so much more important to me than appeasing people's expectations of me. So what I'm saying to you, Wayne and Lucas, don't be offended at other people's ignorance. Just understand that you are educated. You choose whether or not you want to tell these people who they are or what you are or not, but be at peace with the fact that you're living your best life and you don't owe anybody a goddamn thing for anything. You just love, you live, and you write music, and that's who you are, and that's who you should be.
That's enough. That's a whole plate.
You are enough, and
that's a whole plate and a whole meal.
It's a whole meal. I'm gonna play this song right after this.
Yeah, you better go in and give him a little taste of that. A little taste of the whole meal. You better give him a taste of the whole meal.
I'm gonna give them a whole freaking meal.
Look.
This has been Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. We'll see you next time.
It's filter free.